Hello, my XRP army, my tribe, and everybody out there in YouTube land. Had another good comment from Didi Ermo 7523. And she comments, I want to understand something about XRP. Many crypto experts are saying XRP cannot go to 1,000 USD, and this crazy figures because of the impossibility of the market cap situation needed, trillions, etc., and taking the whole stock market GDP, etc. While other arguments say market cap means nothing here. All that's needed is adoption by institutions. Where is the truth? What is the truth? What is the right argument? I am so confused with this. Well, they're both right and they're both wrong. Market capacity or market capitalization is a simple formula. Here, market capacity equals the price per coin or token times the circulating supply. You can say dollar times quantity equals MC. Now, the thing about that is that these numbers are not static. Quantity changes, and the dollar changes on a continuous basis, non-stop. Let's take Bitcoin for example. Bitcoin, is the quantity fixed? No, it's not. The quantity goes up as mining occurs, and it gets to a certain point and it halves. And that's not stable. So the number in the market changes on a continuous basis. You could say that XRP, the quantity changes also. Why? Because of releases. But those releases are finite. They will run out of releases. I know that they release a certain amount every month for operating expenses, and then a lot of that gets put back into another wallet somewhere else. Eventually, all the tokens are out on the market. Don't know exactly when. I believe they said there was 33 months, supposedly, and all the tokens would be out there. When that happens, this part no longer is in the equation. The only thing that matters then is this, the price. And if, let's just say, just to make it simple, two big banks, Chase and Wells Fargo. Chase buys a whole bunch of XRP and sits on it for future transactions. And I do believe that Chase is using XRP for internal transactions. But Wells Fargo's board of directors decides to sit it out. But now it gets implemented in a big way. And all the tokens are out there and all of them have been bought up. Now Wells Fargo's people, their customers, want to transact in XRP because they don't want their money sitting around for 3 days in the SWIFT system. Now, what price does Wells Fargo have to pay to purchase XRP on the open market? How many of those tokens are actually available for sale at any given time? Is it 1? Is it 10 million? Is it 100 million? Is it a billion? If they can't get the required number of XRP that they need, then they have to up their price for those XRP, the individuals, and the price goes up. If a whole bunch of people decide to sell their XRP and flood the market, the price will go down because the quantity available for sale has gone up. People who say that it can't happen because of market capitalization, look at it this way. I gotta do this, sorry. If you're making an apple pie, or you're building a kit car, and you don't have a bunch of the components, are you making an apple pie without apples? Are you making a kit car without an engine, a transmission, a drive shaft, and tires? No, you don't have them. Excuse me. You don't have everything it needs to make it. So each person has their own point of view, constructs their argument from the information they have available to them or what they are used to seeing. And what you're used to seeing will be made of your experience. So if you are used to seeing market capacities, let's say in the stock market where Wells Fargo only issues X amount of stock and then they can't issue any more because of bylaws or whatever, then that portion of the equation of the value of each individual stock of Wells Fargo is fixed. That portion of the equation, it cannot change. So the only thing that can change is the value of each individual one. If people want to buy that stock, they've got to up the ante to buy it. And it's the same, and if that's all your exposure is to it, the stock market equation, then that's where you'll be. If on the crypto side you're waiting for adoption, that's another part of the equation for XRP. Yes, there's a market capacity, which we know the amount, I think it's 500 billion tokens. Once those are all released, that becomes a non-issue. What then becomes an issue is how many of those tokens are available at any given time to make the transactions that are being made around the world. That number won't be 500 billion. My XRP will not be part of that equation because I'm holding on to it. Unless I become my own bank and I loan it out. And I get interest on it. In addition to the increase in valuation of each individual unit because all the units are out there and now people have to pay more to get an individual units. I'm getting that rise in the value of it, but I'm also getting interest, usury. That's important. Become your own bank. Change your thoughts, change your world. So there is that factor in there. And as more and more adoption kicks in, that begins to make each XRP more valuable, to have more intrinsic value. Why? Because there's broader usage. And most stock traders don't take that into consideration because it's not a factor of what they're doing. Usually. There's always exceptions to the rule. It's like if you came out with a new tech and the tech, it starts getting used, that drives the price too. The stock market and the crypto market are very, very similar. I'd almost argue there is no difference. To me, that's why market capacity isn't relevant for my plan. I believe that as adoption kicks in, there will be more use for XRP, and the scarcity of XRP will increase as time goes along after all the tokens have been issued. So what is the value of each one? What's the capacity? So the SWIFT system moves 5 trillion per day. So if you take 5 trillion and there's 250 business days and you multiply that, and then that gives you what? Multiple quadrillions of dollars moved every year. Well, the SWIFT system is only, what, half of the international transactions. The rest are on different systems. XRP can move all the SWIFT. It can move more than that too. It can move all the other SWIFT, all the other international transactions outside of that system. It can also move everything inside each country. It could also transact between individuals. So what if XRP was adopted competing with the SWIFT system, but it's not 250 business days because crypto market is 365, and it's $5 trillion a day times 365 equals 1.825 times 10 to the 15th power. That's a big number of XRP moving every year. But again, not all the XRP is available to trade at any given time. In fact, most of it won't be. Why? Because Chase is not going to give up their XRP to Wells Fargo so that Wells Fargo can make an international transaction. Chase is going to say, screw you, Wells Fargo, I'm hanging on to mine. So those however many hundreds of thousands, millions, a billion, whatever the number is that Chase holds, they're not putting that on the open market. They're saving it for their transactions. So then Wells Fargo goes out on the open market and starts bidding up the price. And so do other people that were late to the game. They bid the price up. So market capacity or market capitalization is very simple. And it changes all the time on a continuous basis in the crypto market based upon the quantities and the price thereof. It's a constantly changing number. But what most people think is they get stuck in the, right now it's $2.08. They get stuck in $2.08 times 500 billion. Therefore, that's the only possible number is 500 billion XRP times $2.08 per XRP. When XRP is fully implemented, that number is going to be a lot higher per token, coin, whatever it is you want to call it. Primarily due to scarcity and value and people getting scared. You get the bond market scared and people start dumping out of bonds and start buying other things that they believe are safer, because a bond is just a piece of paper and a government promise to pay you back. The government gets into bad financial situation. Do you think they're going to honor those bonds? Well, they can, but they can also not, or they can just print all the money and give it to you, and then the money that they give you because of hyperinflation is worth nothing. Something to consider. Whereas something like XRP, which cannot be inflated because there's a fixed amount and there'll never be any more. Something to think about. So, Didi Irmo, I hope that answers your question in a simple way. Is market capacity important? Yes. Is it the end all of everything? No, it's not, because it's a constantly changing number. So is the quantity, so is the price per unit. What you have to focus on is that the fiat currency system known as the US dollar is nearing the end of its life cycle. We've gone farther than anybody else has gone, as far as I know. And we've had a really good run. But the ultimate mathematical solution to that equation is inflation, hyperinflation, then repudiation. You don't get away from that. So, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, but buy some XRP and put it off to the side. I'm not going to regret having bought mine. That's what I got for you. God bless y'all. I'm out.